This year marks the 20-year anniversary of me getting my first ever tattoo. I've been tattooed in 4 countries during that time: England, Korea, Japan, and most recently here in Thailand. 2 of those countries have pretty normal tattoo laws, pretty accepted tattoo culture, and 2 of them don't. In this video, let's talk about what it's like getting tattooed in South Korea and Japan. From 2012 to 2016, I lived in Seoul, South Korea, and during that time I got tattooed pretty regularly. A quick Google search of Korean tattoo law will tell us South Korean law permits only licensed medical practitioners, as opposed to tattoo artists without medical degrees, to open tattoo parlors, although it is not illegal to have a tattoo. So this, as was explained in more detail to me by a local tattoo artist, means that medical tattoos are okay, they're cool. By medical tattoos, I mean tattoos more focused on some sort of cosmetic or surgical procedure as opposed to artistic expression. But good old-fashioned tattoo parlors where you can get your wife's name stamped across your forehead, they were not cool. But there always seems to be a way around these things, and I can tell you there are plenty of more traditional tattoo parlors throughout Seoul, throughout Korea, and there are plenty of great tattoo artists working and operating throughout Korea too. Now, where I got tattooed in Seoul was a little bit different because they did have that official license. So technically, this was the only legal tattoo parlor throughout the entire country. And this parlor, you're gonna need to go to a place called Shinnon-hyeon Station, which is just north of Gangnam, and this studio is called Tattoo Korea. The most respected, trusted, and best tattoo parlor in Korea is what their Instagram says, and I would agree with that. Thinking of going and getting some work done whilst you're in Korea, this place is run by a guy called Erok. He lived in America for a long time, so he spoke perfect English, which meant that there were no language barriers when I went in there, when I explained what I wanted, the ideas that I had. But the artist didn't speak fluent English, but it didn't really matter because he was there as kind of the mediator. He's not an artist himself, he's the owner of the studio. So if you have any needs, he is always there and available to help. I also got really good prices there, really good prices on both of the big pieces that I had done. Firstly, I got my right chest done, which is right here. And secondly, I got my left chest plate and my entire left sleeve. Paid for all these as 2 individual pieces, and then I basically just kept going over and over again until the job was done. Here's a picture of Muck, my artist, working on me in action, which is actually my most reposted and reused Instagram photo of all time, and I think it's pretty obvious why. Just to clarify, guys, the experience I'm talking about here was 10 years ago. Things might have changed since then. In fact, I know that the studio, the artists, have been doing a lot of work with Netflix. You can see from their Instagram. So I don't know nowadays whether the prices are the same, whether the availability is the same. I don't really know how it works. I've not been there for a long time. In terms of other tattoo studios and other artists in Seoul and throughout Korea, I actually used to have a friend, kind of the leader of the Korea tattoo community, if there is such a thing. She was running a page where she was collating studios, artists, etc. But I can't remember what it was, and I've lost touch with her, I'm sorry, so a bit of a pointless thing to bring up. But one thing I can stress and assure you is, despite the illegal nature of tattoos in Korea, I never met anybody, nor did I ever hear of anybody who had any trouble whilst getting tattooed there. If you are thinking of getting a little souvenir whilst you're in South Korea, I am sure, and I assure you, you will have no problems. Next up, 2016, I moved to Tokyo, Japan, and believe it or not, tattoos are not illegal there. Tattoos are not illegal in Japan, but they aren't allowed everywhere. I think that sums it up perfectly because yes, tattoos may be legal in Japan, but actually comparing the 2 countries, they carry more of a stigma in Japan than they do in Korea. This video isn't about that, I'm telling you about my experience. So where did I get tattooed? When I was in Tokyo, a friend of mine recommended a place to me called Tokyo Hardcore Tattoo, which was in a sub-district called Koenji, which coincidentally is where I was living at the time. She recommended that I go there and ask for a guy, an artist called Nobu. Little did I know at the time, but this guy is a true artist. He's the sort of artist who gets invited to conventions around the world. He's always traveling, but that shop at that time was his home base. The guy speaks perfect English, and I had a really good time telling him again what I had in mind, the ideas I was thinking about, but I'm not an artist myself, and collaborating with him as he made recommendations, he came up with suggestions. It was a really good experience, really artistic experience where he gave his insight, and obviously I just basically said, yep, sounds good mate, do what you want because I trust you. I remember when we were talking about pricing, he has an hourly rate, as many tattoo artists do. And I'm just that type of person who wants an idea of what I am getting into. I was getting my full lower sleeve done at the time, and I just wanted a rough estimate on how long it takes. And he actually said to me, it will take as long as it takes. And at the time when he first said that, I was a little bit taken aback. Not because you're going to get ripped off. Japanese people will not rip you off. Because of his artistic integrity, he didn't want to commit to a time because he didn't want to have to rush himself. So he said it'll take as long as it takes. And when he actually started the work and I saw the quality of what he was doing, I was completely cool with that. I actually can't remember how long it did take in total because he had a very busy schedule. There were times he was traveling, there was times he was fully booked up. So I think I had 4 sessions over about 4 or 5 months. They probably would have been 2 to 3 hours each, I'm guessing. So you're probably looking at about 12 to 15 hours for a very detailed, very beautiful piece of art on your skin. Advice to anyone who's thinking of getting a tattoo maybe for the first time, 6 months down the line, whether you rush it and go for the cheap option or whether you take your time and go for a true artist, 6 months down the line, that is going to be on your skin no matter what. So my perspective is be patient, take your time, and get the highest quality possible. I didn't personally go to any other artists whilst I was in Tokyo. I was happy with his work, so I stuck with him. But I did, again, see lots of studios around, particularly in what you would describe as the cooler districts. Obviously, places like Shibuya, places like Shinjuku, but I would recommend venturing out, if you've got the time, to places like Shimokitazawa, Kichijoji, Nakano, and of course, my #1 recommendation would be Nobu. I believe he is now operating his own studio, which, if I remember correctly and nothing's changed, is in Kagorazaka Station. If you're interested in him, I would suggest reaching out on his Instagram, which is right here, getting the info and seeing what his availability is like. Overall, geezers, despite the tattoo laws, despite the stigma that tattoos may carry in both of these countries, I had excellent experiences, and I would recommend both of these studios, these artists, if you are thinking of getting any work done. If you've got any more questions that I might be able to help you with, drop them in the comments down below and I will be happy to assist you. Like the video if you found this one helpful, guys. Subscribe to the channel for more content, and until the next time, have a great day. Bye bye.